Yep. Okay. So the first one we're going for is... where is it? It's from Gazola Mara. And they say, it's not obvious if it's a boy or a girl, what would you do if you woke up as a woman tomorrow?
There is not an item in my house that I wouldn't have shoved inside me.
What, including like microwave?
I reckon I'd get up to toaster. Pop out. That is the very male thing of like what it is to be a woman. Would I try to understand emotionally what it's like, and maybe I could see my girlfriend's point of views? No, I would just sit there frigging myself all day long. You're lying if you don't say, because I think the same way, like if you were a woman and woke up a man, you'd go, I'm gonna masturbate. Yeah. After you got rid of the like, what's this? What am I doing? Who am I? Oh yeah, you'd have to, there'd have to be, for the stipulation of the question, you'd have to know about it. You'd have to agree that it's just a 24-hour period if there's like this genie who's granted you this wish. Right, so just to then, we'll just get up the premise then. You are looking at this as in a, you've gone, like Ariel, the Little Mermaid, you've gone to see some witch doctor and they've gone, right, I will grant you, Elliot Steele, to be a woman for one day. Because that also suggests motivation from your point, like... Yeah, maybe it would be like, I don't know. Rather than you wake up and it's just happened. Oh, then I'd panic. Then I'd go, oh no, I don't want to, I didn't want this. I was really happy where I was. I was on the winning team. If you wake up, less pay? Oh, damn it. Do you think, that's such a it's a funny that's your reaction to just think, oh, because because we're suggesting firstly it's not a Freaky Friday situation, so it's not you and your girlfriend and she's now a bloke. No. So you've woken up and you're a physical woman. I don't know. Here's what I'd do. I'd mess with people. I'd go, if I was a woman, I'd go to a gay club, lesbian night, and I'd pull a girl. And then so the next morning she would wake up and I was a bloke. And she'd think, how much did I have to drink last night? And just be like, what? I'd be like, I was drinking pints all night, sweetheart. Did you think I was a guy? At what point during the kebab order did you not clock on this man might have some male tendencies? I thought a bouncer. I walked into the gents 5 times. It would just be like, I don't know, what would you do? What would be your... So if I so imagine I go to bed and I'm Tom, good night, kiss my teddy, and then wake up. You didn't sit, before you even opened your eyes and looked in the mirror, you'd go, you'd look down and you go, why have I got these genitals and I'm a bloke? And then you look in the mirror and you look at yourself, and there'd absolutely be a fascination with me straight away, like, am I attractive? I'd be like, am I an ugly woman? Or is this what women have been seeing this whole time and I've never realised that actually, no, you... But that's interesting because validation of, like, men will choose a partner. That's why if like a guy wins the lottery, the first thing like a 50-year-old man wins the lottery, first thing he does before the Ferrari or the Lamborghini... Divorce his wife. 23-year-old. Whereas a woman's like, darling, it's you and me. Yeah. Like, it's like, I'm now, like 50-year-old guys are like, I'm dating this, but that's because men are shallow, and we put, not necessarily shallow, we value looks as the thing. Yeah, we are. No guy will go out. You won't find, very rarely, there's an exception to the rule, but you'll find like you'll never see like 23-year-old man with successful 50-year-old businesswoman, whereas you will find successful 50.
And when you do, it's weird. Like you go, what? Like do you remember that guy who played Quicksilver in Avengers, and he married the director of one of his movies, and he was like in his 20s, and she was like 40s, 50s, and everyone was like,
Is that Aaron Taylor Johnson?
yeah, him, yeah. So his missus, who's the director, she's like 30 years older than him or something, and everyone was like, what? What are you doing?
But have you ever in your...
So there are certain combinations of people that people accept more than others. So a young woman with an older man is looked at socially as more acceptable, or sort of people sort of go, oh, okay, I get that, more than a young man with an older woman.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's right. I'm just saying that is something that I don't think you can deny that.
It's because as I know it might be because it's because as a woman you can use sexuality. It's like seen as like it's always been a thing within society up until kind of recently, where you go like, "Hey, you're a beautiful young girl. You should marry." And mums would say, "You're beautiful. You should marry a successful man." It's never like, "You're a beautiful girl. You should marry another beautiful man." It's you should marry successful. Where it's never told to you as a guy. You're always told, "Hey, be successful, and you can marry a beautiful young lady."
Interesting.
And that's sort of what we have ingrained into us. And that's but that's the thing. Beautiful women as a guy is the drive for everything. As a straight guy, a beautiful woman is your goal.
I think
everything
that is the stereotype.
Everything
Obviously,
you do
obviously the exception, but yeah. There's I think there's also definitely with the age thing between men and women. I think there's definitely a fertility issue there as well. So of course, a young girl will be fertile and an old man will be fertile, whereas a young guy will be fertile, but an older woman, there's higher risk there. So that is a definite factor when you go, why is he with that? And that's not a fair thing, because the world is not fair for women. I'm still trying to get some good cadence after.
I would argue, okay, here's a thing that I've never talked about before. You see, when I was like 18, 19 doing the Fringe, some of the older female comics would ply me full of alcohol, take me back to theirs, and it was just funny. It's just hilarious. Like, I'll tell the story the next day, and all the male comics would be like, it's you hooked up with. If that was the other way around, oh my god.
Do you get why it's that way?
Yeah, because there's a
risk
threat.
Factor and
There's a threat. I'm not saying that it isn't.
You're still going to be able to punch out a.
I don't know. Some of them were a bit bigger, you know. Some of them.
But
yeah. Totally. I never understand when guys go like, yeah, but if it was the other way around, and it's like, well, I was totally consenting. When I'm being bought drinks, I would never go. And that was the night I realised that I had been taken advantage of. I was like, man, take advantage of me. This is great. I don't have to put my hand in my pocket and I'm going to get laid. What a night.
Yeah, I saw some of them he walked off with. It was great. There's a young man who's finding his feet in the world.
But this is my thing with the Aaron Taylor Johnson thing. Sometimes being with an older woman is better than going with a younger woman. Because an older woman is like, hey, no messing about. This is what you're here for. You're here because some batteries have died. So don't think that you're like anything. Don't think that you're like important. Don't think that I want to know your hopes and dreams. This is why you're here.
Or do you think it's just as simple as they have the connection, and that actually should be what it's all about? And who are we to judge? Maybe it does come back to that.
I'm not judging.
Well, we are judging.
I'm judging just some of them.
There's nothing wrong with judging. I hate that. You shouldn't be judgmental. It's like, yeah, you should, actually. I think you should judge. That's fine.
But there's that odd thing, isn't it?
Don't be too overly virtuous yourself. But I think, it's fine to not judge, maybe analyse.
Yes. I think looking back on some of it, I was very much taken advantage of, but it never pops into my head as like, oh my, I never get a flashback from it. Like, as a girl, like being taken advantage of is horrific, whereas as a guy, I'm just secure enough to be like, yeah, I probably had a few too many beers that night. I know the situation I was in, and but the power construct isn't there. But if I woke up as a woman, I'd probably go home and take home a young guy
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. I think it would just be swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah. I think that's a real sort of manly response because like you do want to go right. No, I'd look at the reality is you'd freak out. You'd never leave your house and you'd be mentally scarred for the rest of your life.
You just had that twin, and no one would believe you.
Oh God, who am I? And then you go back to yourself and you go, did I just do it? Because it'd be fascinating. It'd be fascinating to walk down the street just to do that and just to see. So do I get catcalled? Do I get just to sort of exist for a day and see what it's like as far as like how often am I actually searching for my keys and stuff? You get a whole new perspective. You go, oh, this is what they were on about the whole time.
Yeah.
Actually, you know when you have those conversations with people, it was the same with sort of with the Black Lives Matter stuff that came out. Just when they went, you'll never know what it is to be black.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing that and sort of going, no, but I can sort of sympathise. I can't empathise, but I can sort of understand like, no, there's no, and it's like, I firstly think that's problematic to me in a way as well, because I think as soon as you say to the other side, there's no possible way you can understand it, you're then shutting them off from any sort of dialogue. So, but I do understand.
But at least we're shut off from dialogue. But to be fair, we did shut black people off from like sitting at the restaurant. I'd rather be shut off from dialogue. Just be like, you're not in this conversation. Oh well. Yeah. Then like, hey. Get out of here! Like, do you know? No. You can buy a burger and chips, but you eat them outside. Like,
but we're not talking about what we did and how bad that was. We're talking about how we now go forward. And my point is that the minute you start going, you'd never be able to understand. You instantly go, we can't sympathise with each other, and I think that's a dangerous. Track of dialogue to go down, but at the same time, I do understand that that's why it would be so fascinating to be anything for a day. It's the if you could walk a mile in my shoes. That's what the question is essentially. If you could walk a mile in my shoes, what would you do? And so maybe the answer is, what would I do? It's like I would try and act as just normal as it is possible to then gain an understanding of what it most might be just on an everyday basis, rather than I'll just go fuck everything.
I'd see how I'd look in laundry.
You'd also do it. You'd spend a good like 4 hours masturbating.
I'd see how I'd look in laundry and take a couple of Instagram pics, and then everyone would be like, wait, what happened to it? And then the next day I'd be like, oh, nothing about I don't know. It is. You need more than 24 hours to get over the initial shock, but you need it to be on an agreement setting with whoever conducted the wish. Do you know what I'll do? I'd go to a bar and I'll just see if I could not pay for a drink. I'll just see if I
could. Oh, definitely.
I could definitely. I reckon I could go to a bar.
You could do that as a man.
No,
but way more effectively.
Way more effectively, because I've never agreed with that. Sentiment, like you hear when guys go, well, I've never had drinks bought for me. It's like, yeah, because you're ugly. But
because like any bloke who's sort of socially apt has had drinks bought for him.
Oh, absolutely. Of course you have. I had a girl come up to me one time and just be like, can I buy you a drink? And it was just clearly initiation. It was the same way as a guy like, yeah, you're just buying a couple minutes of my time to chat to me and see. Like, I've had that happen to me quite a few times. So whenever guys try to throw that, whenever I hear a guy say, "Oh, I don't have drinks paid for me," and it's like, "All right, well, you're shit chat and you're also ugly." That's true. That's what you are. And as a guy, you then have to work.
How many times have you bought a round?
Who, me?
No. This hypothetical.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never got drinks bought to me. Yeah. How many times have you actually bought drinks to someone else as well?
But that's
are you that bloke who just is on his own drinking? But yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, as a guy, money and like how it sort of makes it a little bit more of a level playing field. But as a woman, just speaking, you can be a gorgeous woman and you can be allowed into the same place that billionaire guy is allowed into. Yeah. You're allowed into that. So that's why at times guys get fucked off about it. I'm not saying they should, But that's why guys get pissed off about it.
Definitely.
Because like, do you see how much I have to buy? If you work a minimum wage job and you have to buy a girl a drink, it's like, all right, I have to buy me and myself a drink. That's 12. That's 2 hours of my life.
That is 2 hours.
for the opportunity to speak to you, right? That's. I'm not saying that girls don't have to spend 2 hours of their life for an opportunity to sometimes speak to a guy.
We've got to put the nails on.
But you can.
It's important that we are very much, when we talk about men and women, in our minds we are picturing a fit woman and a bloke.
Yeah.
Like, not all women get that luxury.
But my girlfriend, she is the master of going into a place and getting drink bought for her. She likes having drink bought for her. My girlfriend's a spanner into the works. She likes being catcalled. I saw my girlfriend get catcalled one time, and I wanted to be like to the guy, like, what the fuck you doing? And my girlfriend was like, still got it, right? And I can't then tell her how to feel, because that in itself is sexist.
No, and I bet she gets annoyed that a lot of women do tell her how to feel.
Oh, she hates it.
Yeah.
She really hates it, Sarah Pascoe.
I met her with a friend last week. So she's like a 24-year-old model. She's a girl who's been good looking her entire life. So to the extent where when she was 16, she had a hashtag that went out in Brighton, hashtag she's legal.
That is horrible.
So, and
it's very funny, but it's horrible.
Well, it's horrible. So then it was the first.
Imagine your 16th birthday and you're now trending. That must fuck you up psychologically.
Well, that's it. So when you talk about this sort of these good-looking girls, actually that's speaking horrible. To her, I go like, so yeah, she's never known a life where whenever she goes out, just pretty much she's batting off like, whoa, people are trying to.
Yeah.
And that's tough. That is tough. I mean, I think you'd be hard pressed to say it's as tough as being someone who is awkward and socially unaware, and then life is obviously very hard for that person. But to be an uber good-looking person, and especially a woman, your entire life, it's a shift. It definitely is.
Okay, but I'd argue this about the awkward guys, like those kind of dudes who are like, oh, Mr. Nice Guy, and women never. And it's like, yeah, dude, you've got shit game, and you need to work on that, and you need to work on your. Have you ever seen like sometimes it's baffling to me as a guy. There will be dudes out there who are horrific looking, who will pull the most stunning women, and the reason is because they're bubbly, they're energetic. And women aren't shallow like guys are shallow.
Yeah, definitely.
Women aren't like that shallow. They're like, oh wow, this guy's personality is this, that, and the other. Whereas a woman like your friend, she hasn't chose to be good looking.
No.
That was just, she won that genetic lottery.
Because she's also now in an industry where she's gone into this industry because that's what she's known, and she's known that's what her best shot is. It was interesting though. So she said an interesting thing as well about how she. I don't know if I want to say that actually.
Yeah, go on, just go for it.
Well, she was like, I say, oh, what's your Instagram? I was like, all your friends are really good looking. And she's like, yeah, I know, I'm so lucky. I was like, what do you mean by that? Because like, she felt lucky that all her friends were good looking. Now, I think what she means by that is that at her age, all her friends being good looking means they get in places, they get stuff, blah, blah, blah. But it's also, that's definitely not the correct way to value friends. And also the thing about looks is there is a time limit. It's a diminishing currency.
Yeah, but I think
whereas personality is something you can grow, and bonds of friendship you can grow. Whereas just if your main way of going about life is I'm really hot, you've got until about 35, and then unless you've got some other stuff,
you can become a cougar.
Yeah, but that's not. Yeah, you can. And Aaron Taylor Johnson will be all over you, and
yeah, who's?
Yeah.
But you can become a cougar, but I remember my dad telling me this story one time when my dad was at the height of his fame, right? I don't know if this is just a discussion, we're just seeing what it is. And my dad is like, one day what happens with fame is so when you're first famous, people come up to you all the time. Hey, I saw you on this, and it's annoying. And then it just stops. It will just stop. And when that stops, you suddenly go, it's not the fact that the annoying thing stopped, it's the fact that you suddenly realise that I'm not where I am anymore. That's it, I peaked, It's done. Now I wonder if there's a similar thing with him being an attractive person, whether male or female. Suddenly you're 45 and you just suddenly go, no one's told me that I'm listening yet, and you just see other good-looking people being bought stuff. And I used to be that. And if you put your value on that, and that goes, it's going to mess you up internally.
But to be perfectly honest, so because I'm 10 years older than you, I've been through that stage where I now walk into clubs and don't get the same reaction that I used to. I've already had that.
What was your reaction because when you say reaction, I remember the record scratches. Everyone's barking.
Because it's not like I'm now haggard and old and but it means I have to conduct myself in a different way.
Right.
But there was definitely a stage in my sort of late 20s, early 30s where I'd go into clubs and I'd try and be bouncy. I'm like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And you just go, hang on, I'm coming across as a bit weird or over-eager or what? And you're doing it because you're still doing it to the 24-year-olds.
Right, okay.
And then you suddenly realise, hang on a second, these people aren't reacting to me the same way. So then you go, if you've got any sense, you go, right, I now need to, firstly, I don't want to go to clubs anymore. I want to go to bars where I can talk because that's now...
Have a chat with my mates, be home by 10.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
No, but even have a chat with my mates, but even just... I can't rely on just bounding up and going, hey... Physically, I'm here.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I now need to be verbally, hey, I'm interested and I'm this person. And that happens. So you start not wanting to...
That was really sad the way you were like, that happened.
It sounds like you're still young enough that you're still... Physically, I think you're getting more and more attractive.
Yeah, but I'm lucky that I was ugly up until the age of probably 19.
So was I.
So I'm lucky that I've been the ugly person, that I had a personality. Right. So I've been ugly, that when just not because I'm I'm what I call first glance attractive. You look at me at first and you think, oh, this guy's all right looking. And then by second glance, you're like, wait, his nose is kind of, his ears aren't quite, why has he got dyed hair? Yeah. Why is he, do you know what I mean? His accent doesn't fit his look. Yeah. But I can work with it now. When I'm mid-30s, I'm in trouble. But until then, it's just, woo! But like, it for me, validation in looks is never, and this is where it's lucky to be a guy, is you can pull on funny. If that's your objective, your objective is to go out there and hook up with people, I'm funny. Mm-hmm. So, alright, that good looking, do you remember we had this in our beef for those two really good looking boys came and sat with us as we were chatting to these girls. It was those moments I was kind of intimidated by them. They were big, they were muscular, and you just sat there and was like, cool. And you were just being funny. You were just starting the conversation and bringing them into the conversation. And when you brought them into the conversation, they didn't have anything to say because they spent all their time doing steroids and lifting weights.
Yeah, they had that sort of instant. We've got this big bang, and now because also those sort of guys are always expecting a pushback from another guy. If the guy that they're trying to dominate goes, yeah, come in, they go, oh, I've now got nothing left because now all I've got is actual conversation. Yeah. It's like, oh, what do I do? Yeah.
And they just sat there awkwardly for like 20, 30 minutes, just not really anything to say. And you were just, so how do you guys know each other? And they were like, oh, we just grew up with each other. Oh, cool. Where'd you grow up? Oh, Sunderland. And how was it? Yeah, it was alright. And they did, and then suddenly it's like, whereas a group of males, no matter how good the females were, they'd be like,
I think with maybe this is an age thing because I think we're also now talking about sort of 20s and early 30s. I think what we're going age range here, but I think a girl can sort of get the attention of a guy through banter, but he will leave her if a fit girl just comes along at 2 a.m.
Yeah, he's a scumbag.
But also just so sort of yeah,
and that is inherently the problem with guys. Mm-hmm. Like is like for everything guys get angry at like seemingly beautiful women or anything, but look, we give them this, we give them that. It's like, yeah, that's because you're allowing it. That's because you're doing it. Like, if guys were to just go, hey, how's it going? You're right, yeah, and have an actual meaningful conversation and work on a way that women can work, we'll all be a lot better off. I think a little bit. But
I like the idea that you, as a woman, go out. You have your few hours, then you go out, you pull a guy, take him back, have a lovely evening. The next moment, like, want some breakfast? Yeah, I'll make some toast. Where's the toaster?
No, I'll just go out. I'll just go out and bang a load of dudes and claim it's not gay. But like, no, I was a chick. It's not gay. It's not. I was a chick.
I was a chick.
Yeah. Look, I was a chick.